Hello, welcome to the Snap Revise YouTube channel. For this video, I'm going to talk about the things that you can be working on during the Easter holiday to really supercharge your revision ready for exams. This video is more like a general indicator of things to be thinking about. I haven't put this into any sort of schedule because everybody works differently over the holidays. Whether you want to do intensive revision during the week and then have your weekends completely free, or whether you want to do a little bit of revision every day, just use what we've talked about in this video and apply it to what works for you. From reading through YouTube comments, I can see that quite a few of you haven't finished going through your specifications yet, and this sounds stressful, so don't panic. You can rectify this during the Easter holidays. What you need to do is at the beginning of your Easter break, go through your specification, write down all of the topics that you haven't covered in lessons with your teacher yet. These will be where we focus our energy first and really make an effort to bridge those gaps. In this case, you want to pay particular attention to the topics that are covered in the advanced exam information as well. I'm hoping that your teachers have covered all of these, but if they haven't, those are the ones we want to look at first. The good news that you're probably happy to hear if you are in this situation is that anything that's left to cover in the specification won't be entirely new to you. Synoptic links and the way that the specification has been designed means that there will be things in these newer topics that you have actually already covered in other topics. In fact, this is a brilliant opportunity to bridge those gaps and build your own synoptic links by working backwards. So have a look at this topic that you don't know much about yet, and start to think about all the ways that it could connect to the rest of the specification. You should start to see that a lot of the knowledge gaps you have, you can start to bridge just by making these links across the spec. So once you've looked at the spec notes about this new topic, and remember that your specification has condensed everything that you need to know about that topic, that should have built a good foundation knowledge in your mind. What you need to do now is go on and flesh that out by reading your own textbooks, looking through YouTube videos, just anything that you like to use to expand your knowledge on each topic. Don't spend too much time doing this, because what we really want to do is move on to testing ourselves as soon as possible. So flesh out your knowledge as much as you can in maybe a day or in half a day, looking at each topic, and then test yourself with exam questions, or you might want to ease yourself in with some flashcard questions. When it comes to learning new things, the key to cementing them into your long-term memory is spaced repetition. So once you've learned these new topics, start to test yourself regularly throughout the Easter holiday time, and make sure you tackle any confusion that you're having head on. So if you come across an exam question about this topic that you just don't know how to answer, spend the time figuring out why you don't know the answer, and how you can start to build towards knowing how to form a response. Don't ignore anything that's troubling you at this time. We need to be nailing absolutely everything on the head. So it probably goes without saying, but during the Easter holiday, you need to be doing tons of past papers. One per day is easy to achieve during the holidays, at least one per day, and make sure that you're going back over it after you've filled it out to mark it, and then to take note of all of the things that you got wrong. Use the examiner's report as well, so make sure that you're taking note of common mistakes that were made, and also look at the way that the examiners liked responses to be formed, because as well as showing common errors, examiners' reports are great for reporting what went well. By the end of your holiday, you should be so familiar with how the mark scheme works, and feeling confident for your final exam, because there is no better way to prepare for exams than by doing them at home under timed conditions. Make sure for each paper that you do, you make a list of the topics where you missed marks, so you can work on these in your revision, and also the styles of questions that you don't do too well on. Again, you can rectify this by just doing more practice. If you tend to be a bit disorganised with your notes, then the Easter holiday is a fantastic opportunity to get them all in order, and you will appreciate this when the exam season starts. Organise your notes by subject and by topic. Get all of the past papers that you've done before organised, so you can flick through and see which ones you've already gone through. They're just as handy as revision notes when it comes to preparing for the exam. And if you haven't already, then you might want to start to condense some of the trickier parts of your subject into an A4 sheet. I did this for all of my A-level exams and for my university exams. Any topic that I really wasn't very good at, I would condense onto an A4 sheet that I could sort of cram revise before going into the exam hall, and I was so grateful for having that document every single time. These pages don't need everything on them, just the things that you really struggle with, and you should be able to fit that all onto one A4 sheet. If there aren't that many things, then you could even fit it onto a flashcard. Just any format that you can look at and easily absorb that information before going into the exam. It really does put your mind at ease. So earlier in the video, I mentioned the importance of spaced repetition, and building this into your schedule is all about building in rest. Make sure that you're building in regular periods where you aren't using your brain, where you aren't testing your brain, and that you just enjoy having some time off. You could do some walking or any other form of exercise. Walking is great because it gets the blood pumping, gets the endorphins going, so that when you do sit down you can focus a lot easier. Anything that can take you away from that space where you typically sit down and revise is going to be so good for your brain. Now, a big part of resting is getting your sleep schedule sorted. If you're guilty of staying up late to cram revise, or you just find that you work better at night, then try to rectify this by getting a good sleep schedule in. You need 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night, and make sure that you are consistent with what time you go to bed and what time you wake up. It shouldn't take too long to establish this pattern, and it will pay off big time if you can get it sorted now during the Easter holidays for when exams come around. If you find that you struggle to get to bed earlier or that you struggle to relax, try to limit your screen time during the day. So when you have some rest periods, don't reach for your phone instinctively. Don't scroll through TikTok or other social media feeds, or do gaming or watch TV late into the night. That's just not going to be great for your sleep and for your concentration in general. Read a book instead, or do some other activity that just doesn't involve screens. So my final tip for your more intensive revision throughout Easter is to set yourself targets that you can work through as the time goes by, so you can feel like you're really achieving something. It's better if these are comprehensive, so at the start of your Easter holidays, or even in the week before if you want to get ahead, spend 20 minutes to sit down and have a think about everything that you want to have achieved by the time the holiday is finished. Getting these targets down on paper immediately makes them more attainable, rather than just keeping them stored in your head, and it will help to motivate you to get up every day and do a little bit of work towards those targets. To hold yourself accountable, set a date for each target. This will stop you from procrastinating because you will have spaced them out regularly throughout the week and build in rewards for when you actually do achieve them. If you can't think of specific targets, then here's a good place to start. Covering each and every topic within every spec for your subjects, revising each practical in the practical handbook, and then doing at least 3 past papers per subject per week. On more productive days, you might find that you even add on to your targets. If you just have a different frame of mind, you can think of more things that you want to achieve. However you go about your revision, your targets should be central. Hopefully all of that advice works for you. Don't feel too stressed out. You're probably already in a much stronger position than you think you are. The Easter holiday is the perfect time to get an advantage on yourself, so don't spend time stressing. Try to get ahead during this break so that when you go back to school, you're even stronger, so that all of the lessons you have going forward are just bonuses on top of what you've done during the break. If you have any questions or any other ideas or comments, pop them down in the comment section below. We love to see them. And don't forget, if you haven't already, that you can subscribe to the Snap Revise YouTube channel just here to keep up to date with all of our uploads helping you through your revision. For example, this video just here. Thanks again and good luck with your revision, and hopefully see you again on the channel soon.